And it's recording. Okay, welcome to second session of Git. Validation is sweet. So after the last session, how many of you switched to Git? I hope some of you did. One. अच्छा वो तो पहले का. Okay. Okay, so the purpose of this session is to have a very basic understanding of Git. Only things I'll teach in this is the commands you'll use tomorrow when we switch to Git. No more basic concepts, no more advanced concept, and no more going deep into the what Git is, how it works. So let's just go through the initial slide I had last time. What is Git? Important thing here is Git is a distributed revision control and source management system with an emphasis on speed. So when I say distributed, it actually is very distributed. There is no need for any central repository. But we being XPO, we have 50, 40, 60 people working on it, so we do need it. Even though we can still work without it, we can share the code amongst our repositories. So some of the advantages here, clones, I'll tell you what clones are. They are full repository copies. So each and everyone who is working with Git will have full repository with them. And as I said, there is no need for a central repository, but we will have one on the GitHub, and we'll be pushing and pulling, we'll be committing our code there as well. Another advantage is a very cheap branching. I'll show you what need for branches. I don't know, workflow is still not decided yet. So we can work with Git in multiple ways. There are multiple workflows involved in this. It's not decided yet, so we'll see. But very sure branching will be involved in that. So I'll show you what that means. And it works offline. So this is one of the features I like. I can keep committing locally and structure them however I want, and then push it when I'm ready to push it. So these are the things I'll be telling you about: cloning, pull, add, commit, push. This is all you're going to need tomorrow when we are switching to Git. So let's just start. I'll show this later on. We'll probably have a lot of time afterwards, so we also take questions here. You can see this slide. So what are you going to see tomorrow is a repository created on GitHub like this. How many of you have ever seen GitHub, any repository on GitHub? How many of you have not? Okay, so plenty. So this is the GitHub website. You'll see the repository will be shown here, the owner of the repository name, and all these small things. So you'll see all the files committed here, the branches, all the small details here. So what are you going to do tomorrow? First thing you're going to do is clone the repository onto your local hard drive. So you'll go here, you'll see a URL for this repository, and one way you can clone this repository is through HTTPS, and you can use SSH as well. I find it quite cumbersome to create keys and etc. and I don't know, load it here as well. We can just use HTTPS with our username and password as well. So I'll copy this URL. The command for cloning is git clone and the URL here. So clone does multiple things, but for now, let's just say it will copy everything on our local hard drive. So let me do that. So it did some things, counting object, etc. This, and now we have the whole repository with us on our local hard drive. So let's see how it looks. So I have the repository here. The file is with me. So what are you going to do next? You are going to maybe change something in that file. You are going to edit it and commit it. That's what you want to do. So let's open that file here. Simple file, nothing else. File 1.1. You'll make the change, you'll save it, and done. Oh, I changed the file, sorry. So I've changed the file. So what's next thing you are going to do? You're going to check the status of our repository. What has changed? The command for that is git status. So let's see what are the things here shown here. We are currently on the branch master. It's also saying our branch is up to date with the origin master. What does that mean? This branch master is our local branch. This branch origin master is our remote branch, which is sitting on GitHub right now. Let's state that. Next thing, changes not staged for commit. Some other thing it's suggesting. Then the file. What has happened to the file? It's been modified. File 1 was modified. And then it suggests few other things. So it's saying that file was modified. Now what we have to do? We have to create a commit. We'll have to add these changes. Okay, staging area. So command for that is git add and then the file. Now all these things what I'm doing is can be done through tools. Some of the things will be helpful, much more easier in tools as well. There's GitHub for desktop, there's source tree as well. Some people really like source tree GitHub. I'm just showing you what are the commands which actually happens when the UI tools start working. So this is how you add the file. What does add mean? It means we are telling Git to start tracking this file. Whether it was already tagged or not, just start tracking the changes in that file. That's what git add does. Now there is a concept behind this as well. There's some words you will see: staging area, index, etc. etc. We are not going to get into that. That will be taken care in the advanced session by Abhay as well. So these are the commands which we will be using today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. So git add does is tell Git to start tracking this file, all the changes in that file. So this we have done. Let's see the git status. Something else changed. We are still on the branch master. Our branch is up to date as well, but this changed. It's not in green. It says yes, Git is tracking it now. Let's change this file again. As you see, for the same file, it's showing now two things. It's tracking the file. This has been staged, and this change has not been staged. So let me open a command UI tool. It will show up. So here is the stage changes, which I've told Git to start tracking. And here are the changes which Git doesn't know about. It knows that something has changed, but we have not staged it and told Git to start tracking. So the difference would be if this was a new file, we have to put put the new file on in the staging area so that it can start tracking the changes in that afterwards. So I've changed. I made the change here as well. Let me move back to terminal now. So how do I create a commit here? Command is git commit -m -l will allow us to add a message to it. Now the commit is created. Let's check the git status. Now the status of our repository is we are on the branch master and our branch is ahead of branch origin master by 1. It knows what the status of branch on the server is and is telling us we have one commit which is only here locally. So next thing I'm going to do is git push. There are multiple flags we can add here. We can push a different branch, but we want to I just git push without any flags or specifying which branch I want to push. So it's so our push is gone, and let's see our Yeah. So we have our second commit right now. So this is the thing. These are all things you need to start working. But there's some advanced usage for Git as well, and some of the things I haven't told you. So there's a concept of branch applies to both local and remote as well. Our local branch does not know about any remote branches. So how did it know that when I pushed it, which branch on this remote server it needs to commit to? So there's concept of upstream and downstream. All our local branches need to have some upstream branch and downstream branch to which it will push the commit and from which it will fetch the commit. So what clone does is it downloads all the branches, it sets the upstream and downstream branches for those all those local branches to the upstream branch here on the GitHub. So that whenever you push the commit to from that local branch, it will know that it has to push it here. So let's do that. Let's create a local branch. So as I said, creating branch here is very cheap. So I'll create a branch locally. So what do I need to create a branch? Let's say you're working on a feature, you're working on a story here, and people will start committing here and there. You'll have conflict. So what you may have to switch to another branch. May have to switch to master and do something there and have some bug fixes. So good practice to follow is create a branch for everything, every big thing, small thing which you need to do. Maybe you have to fix a bug, maybe you have to create a feature which will be like 2-3 days long. So create a branch for that, and then afterwards pull all those changes back to the master branch or whatever workflow we are using right now. So we'll create a feature branch here. Feature one, and yeah, branch is created. So I'll move into that branch. Command for that is git checkout feature one, and I'll start working on that. Let's say I've added a new file in here. So I'll do that right now. I've added a new file. Git status, let's say. So this is a new file added into the branch, but Git doesn't know about it. So it says there are untracked file here, feature one file.txt. So I have to add it to tell Git to start tracking this file. Command is the same, git add feature one file.txt. Yeah. So let's check the status of our repository again. Okay, now Git knows about the new file. Any changes I make to this file, now Git will start tracking. Otherwise, it was just a new file for the Git. So the upper one says that it is tracking the new file, and downward it says that this file has been modified because now earlier we added the file to staging. It will start tracking all the changes here as well. You have not actually modified. I have modified. I have modified here. I didn't show. So we'll see. We'll see what are the changes here. Let me show. So this was the file which when it was new, and this is the changes I have made after I have added it to the Git. After which I have told to Git to start tracking it. These are the changes that was made. So I'll add it again. Okay, this is the new file, and since we have added it again, so it will show up as single new file, not all the changes that are made to that file afterwards. So I'll again do a commit with message. Okay. If you remember earlier, this message was different. Now it only shows on branch feature, right? It doesn't show my branch is behind or ahead of whatever origin / branch was there, because this branch was created locally. There's no equivalent branch on GitHub here. So what I have to do is push this branch to GitHub and set this local branch upstream as well as downstream as that branch which will be created on GitHub. So Git also allows our local branch will have different upstream and downstream branches. We may want to pull from somewhere, we may want to push to somewhere. Because Git, we just remote things are just added on things on Git. It can work locally, it doesn't need any central server. I may want to pull from Nikhil's repository, I may want to push to Sagar's repository. We can all XPO, but 60 people doing that will be equally fun. So what can I do to push this branch to GitHub? Although we may not need to, the workflow that will probably employ is pull, merge all these changes in this feature into our development branch or whatever branch we want to do. So we'll do that as well. Right now, I'll just push this, git push origin feature one. But this will not set our upstream and downstream branches. So there is a flag here, -u. It will set our upstream branch to that as well. Upstream and downstream. Yeah. So yeah, what are the messages here? Something download, compressing, etc. New branch feature one is now feature one on GitHub as well. Let's move there now. As you can see, oh, there are 3 branches. I've already made one branch there. So that you can see the branches, the default branch master here, my other branches feature 1, 13.1. So this is how probably it's gonna look like 13.1, 13.2 moving forward.
So Gaurav, when you are cloning the repository, you also have all the branches?
All the branches. So we not only get all the branches, so we can have a copy of the branch as well, but we need all those branches to have some setting related to an upstream and downstream setting as well. So it does that as well.
So now you have committed this to the central repository.
Yeah. Somebody else does all the branches, you'll get all the branches as well. If you get someone's local, so someone's repository, you will get their local branches as well. Everything. So this is how you push your local changes to the central repository we'll be having. So, but one more workflow we can do, we probably will employ here is merging. No. But you probably want to merge your changes. You might want to have some local branches and then merge those changes to some kind of development branch. So we'll merge now some branches here. Let's create get branch feature 2. I'll add one. So let me change. So this checkout is the command you use to switch to branches, but actually yeah, there are other usages as well, but later on. I'll add a new file. So I've added a new file in feature 2. I'll do the same loop again. I'll add the file. I'll commit. Git status. Okay, so this is a local branch feature 2. But I don't want to keep creating all the branches. If we start pushing everyone's local branches to our GitHub, it will be populated with so much randomness. So what I can do is, I just want my changes to be merged in that. So what I can do is merge these branches to whatever branch we have to, maybe master development. We'll see what decision they take. First one is the one we have to merge to, or yeah, this is the command we use to merge, to take the changes from feature 2 and merge it into master. So all our changes that were made in feature 2 will be put into master as well. Now what conflict I need to create? So what you will encounter a lot is conflicts. So I'll show one kind of conflict. Let me show. I have to create conflict. उसको access देना पड़ेगा.
You can change it from the
हाँ local. These are just local things.
website. You can change the file counts and also local.
हाँ correct. So I'll make some changes here in master. Now what it will get that file right. Oh yeah, here we go. Save that.
On the video.
Okay. Oh yes, right. So what I've done is in here I made the change to file 1.3. It is the content of the file 1, and what I'm doing locally here is change it again to file 1.4. I'll be creating the commit here as well. So this will be equal to someone else making that change on the same line in that same file. So always check git status. Okay, git add file 1, git commit 3 changes. Okay, so how do I get my changes? Well, the command for that is get changes from the server. That command is git pull. Now git pull consists of two commands. Actually, it's a short form for two commands. It's git fetch and git merge. So what git fetch does is take all the changes on the remote server. Okay, so before that, there are actually 3 copies of the full repository on your local repository, in your local hard drive or folder. I'll show you later on how that works. So git fetch takes all the changes, put it in somewhere in some other folder, not the one we are working right now. That's called the working copy, and there's a full blown copy of our remote server that what is fetch takes with git fetch, and then it tries to merge it with our local copy. So that's the two thing it git pull does. It will take all the changes, bring it here, and then it will try to merge it with the local changes that we have. So now what we have right now is conflict in the file. Okay, I'll put git status both modified. You have branch master have diverged. You have 3. Okay, that's too many messages. Okay, let's first look here. It tried to merge all the changes which was remote locally and the remote as well. It shows there is a conflict in that. I'm going to change the same file. So let's try to see how the file looks like right now. There are various tools which allows us to use to helps us with merging conflicts, etc. But I prefer to do it in the file as well. So I think that's better way of understanding what Git does. Okay, so this is how our files are going to look like. On the top, it shows, so this middle equal to line, it's the partition between the two changes that we're trying to merge. Above one are the changes when it says head is our local changes. And this is the change I made. And below that are the changes trying to merge from whatever, maybe some other commit, some other branch, remove branch, whatever. So these are the two changes it's trying to merge. Below this equal to line and above this equal to line. So all you have to do is just remove these unnecessary lines, this equal to lines and these greaters and head and the SHA number as well, and just save it. Remove this and then make all the changes you want. Whatever you save here will be the file which will be saved locally. Maybe you wanted 1.5, maybe you don't find this. You just save it and let's see. Oh, sorry. And then you have to tell Git to add. Did I remove something? Yeah, terminal. Okay, so we have made the changes we want. We have resolved the conflict. When we say resolve the conflict, Git looks for those markers, the double equal to line, those greater than lines, those less than lines. It looks for that as a marker for conflict resolution. So we have resolved the conflict. We have the file we want. We have removed those markers as well. So now I'll just add. We'll tell Git to add that file and start tracking. Oh, it's commit. Yeah, so we made the changes, all our conflicts are resolved, but this was because we pulled. We still have to push it. So that's the advice I'll give you. Always pull those changes. It's very easy to resolve the conflicts in this. Just pull the changes first, resolve it locally, because if you try to push it, it will try to, I don't know, whatever happens. It will show some, oh yeah, when it will, it's a new force alert. Yeah, and then he'll said something. So earlier it used to just make override the changes. Now they have some kind of force flag. If you want to push our changes there, it won't show any conflict. It will just overwrite everything here. So don't use push. Take all the pulls first and then resolve the conflicts locally and then push your changes. So Git is dangerous in those regards, some of the regards. I think so, yeah. So they were earlier. I think it changes. It changed some things in few other versions. Earlier, I think Inel said there wasn't any force flag as well. I think it used to overwrite and do some stuff. So things have changed. I don't remember that. So yeah, we have pushed our changes there. Git. So we have covered get pull, push, add, commit, merge as well, pushing our branch as well. Let's see what our local branches look like. So we can see all the branches we have. Feature 1, feature 2 master are local branches. In the red are remote / origin 13.1. These are all the remote branches, and Git is tracking those for us as well.
I have something locally changed, and now discard. How do I discard?
Okay, so let me change something here. Okay, so there are some local changes here. I want to remove those changes. So, well, this command is, I don't. This command will remove all the local changes. Try not to use it very frequently.
Just wipe out the.
So, yeah. So there are some concepts behind this. There the flags can be different as well. I don't want to get too early into it. The hard command, there's soft and mixed command as well, head as well. So all this represents something. This means remove all the local changes. For we can in fact put tilde here, and we can put 2 as well. It will remove 2 local commits as well. We can, instead of hard, we can say soft. If I say soft, it will remove those commit, but keep those changes locally as the local changes. We have mixed as well. It will keep us staged as well. Yeah, don't worry about that. So locally, if you want to remove all the local changes, use this.
Can I just say git checkout dot?
I have never used it. There are,
I use that.
yeah, I use it. There are so many things, so many commands. Don't try to use or think or remember all the commands. You don't have that much memory. So yeah, this is the command you use to remove the local changes. But let me add a thing. Yeah.
By local changes, you mean modified files, right?
I'll tell you that now.
Before we get deeper into this, I was on automating. I think this just a couple of things. I don't know if that has been said or not. One is you are seeing the prompt on Mac. Most of you will be using Windows. So that is likely to throw you off a little bit. It's slightly different.
Okay. So I've changed something. The local repository looks like this. There's a modified file and there's a new file. Now, if I run this command, what do you think will happen?
Modified file will get reverted.
Yes, only modified file will get reverted. Then Git does not know about this new file. We haven't added it, so it will not remove that. It doesn't know anything about it. So only our local changes, only in the files currently tracked by Git, it will be removed by this. There's some other flags as well. There are hundreds of flags.
Stashing also should be covered. Stashing. Before we move to something else,
I mean,
revert one particular file, not every. Get checkout file.
just one file we said.
I understood, but I haven't understood.
Overall, checkout file name will
Checkout file name.
Revert.
Checkout file name.
already done by the
Yeah.
UI tools.
Yes, I think some.
Checkout file.
These are some of the commands I use here, but there are so many commands I have to keep looking into it. So this is, I mean, the purpose of the session was this is all you're going to need tomorrow and the after tomorrow for like deeper things, some of the very specific things. You'll have to keep looking into it. I don't have it on my hand as well right now, but we can still keep on asking questions. Maybe then you'll be answering.
Did you explain about the shortcuts you have on your command prompt?
No, I haven't used any shortcut right now.
You used nlog, which I saw.
No, once by mistake.
Even GG.
But that for
Okay. Just like instead of nlog, just put the whole command once. Let's see.
nlog is a very big command. I git. Okay, so normally git log looks like this. Yeah. So let's see how normal git log look like. Yeah, I said normal. This is what the normal git log look like. It will show the author, date, and the file, this and this and this. What I can do is, since we'll all be installing some kind of git and it will have git bash, I'll provide you with the bash file I have. There are some nifty shortcuts.
No, let's not go with the shortcut in the first one.
Yeah.
Even this
Yeah,
this
maybe
looks
in the advanced session, let's go there, but not now.
So let's do nlog file.
Yeah.
Now equivalent for this is git log dash p dash
Pretty.
10 dash name status.
I don't know. It was
Yeah,
quite. It was quite big. I haven't seen it. It's like it's
Nah.
prettify as well, right? There's coloring as well.
Do less
Yeah.
not get
Git log dash p dash 5
does
dash
revision
name.
numbers as SVN hash.
There are checksums for every commit you do. Dash. Sorry.
Okay. Basically, after
So if you okay, if everyone is asking, so what Git does so efficiently is take the snapshot of the repository in current state. It just added the file status here. I can show you the command. It's quite big. Mine is quite big.
Yeah, the nlog.
That's okay.
Yeah, so okay.
So basically shortcut.
So Git's revisions are not incremental. It has no concept of timeline or whatever. It just pointers to the snapshot of the repository at any moment. So when I say that, every commit is a snapshot of the repository at that time, and in the snapshot it only keeps the changes made to the changed file. It doesn't keep every other changes. So when I say snapshot, don't think of it as the whole copy of a repository in every commit. It just keeps the changes in the file if it's changed, and it keeps a snapshot. So as you said,
why I'm asking
Huh.
because right now portal has a URL which tells me that which revision number is portal is deployed. So
Huh.
whenever we pass anything to QA, we just tell them go to this revision number and just test it. So
Yeah,
how that
that's
will
not
work?
going to happen now. So I don't know what strategy they're going to employ about this and other things as well. Our e-track also works have a revision number into it as well, so we'll have to think about that
I
as
think
well.
assembly info we can have a number there.
There is no assembly info in e-track. So some sort of thing for keeping track of that. So as I said, every commit is a checksum SHA ID for it. It just remembers what the status of the repository was. So it just when you git. So as I said, so git checkout. What was that? What was git checkout? It checks out the repository for a specific status for a SHA ID. When I said git checkout feature, it will check out the state of whole repository at that moment of time. I can put in a SHA ID. Let's say you want to go back to some commit like 5 commits back. What you can do is take the SHA ID of it, git checkout and SHA ID. It will make all the changes required for repository to look like what it was at that moment of time.
And is this the SHID commit?
Yes, this whole is the SHA ID. Just take this and I can take this git checkout and it will come to here. These all commits won't look like. Won't be shown.
So if you want to revert anything, you need to use this SHID.
Yes.
This is the only
Revert
If she's saying yes, yes.
Is this the only
What?
Is this the only revert
Yeah, it's just like you take the ID and you get revert and that ID.
So basically, suppose second last and last has same file changes.
Yeah.
And if I want to just revert the change made on second last commit,
Yeah.
not on the last commit,
That's okay. Just take the second last one.
SHA ID.
but
Yeah,
it will revert both.
No,
it
you
will
don't
revert just
revert
one.
only one.
Because both chains will have different SHA ID.
Gaurav, I think SVN has got partial check-in.
Work with check checkout.
वो SVN thing का
Checkout
covered.
checkout
Partial-
package.
Stashing should be covered because
Because
SVN में you could do
Huh.
like 2 file check-in and keep the rest locally, but that is
Stash will take everything out, right?
He's saying, do you want to see that?
Yeah. So okay. So as I said, sometimes what you want to do is you don't want to check in something. You want to pull it and see how it looks. So stash is a feature provided by Git. What you can do is Git stash. It just take all the changes locally made, put it into a stash. It's called stash. It's like a closet full of garbage, whatever you want to put it. And then git pull. All the changes are here. Local, make all your conflict, resolve all your conflicts, and then you can pop those stash changes back here. This stash, since there was no stash here, so it will. So stash is how do I explain? Stash is also a kind of list of changes that you want to keep aside. You don't want to work on it right now. So stash, I would say don't use stash if you're working on some kind of feature. You are working on a local feature branch, right? You won't really need stash too much if you're working on a local feature branch. So stash is, if you want to look into stash, you can look into it. But the normal flow probably would be create a local feature branch or a story branch and make those changes, keep committing there. And let's say someone wants to say, please pull this in, you'll switch to master branch or development branch and then see all the changes you want, pull those changes. So stash would be quite redundant if we are really working with branches. And I would say that would be the case. So, yeah.
This file is being staged. So what does that mean?
Okay.
What is the equivalent in SVN? Is SVN add the equivalent?
Yes, I would say. Stage. For new files, it will be kind of add. Again.
Add is equivalent to SVN add. Staging, there is no concept of staging.
Yeah. So,
Directly coming into the server here.
okay.
You can commit locally, collect all the commits, and then push them all together in one.
So staging is just that the file is being planned. That's all.
Yeah, local commit.
So, okay.
Tracking is through Git add.
So this is the image I found. I think I found it quite useful. So Git has kind of these three, call it repository, call it caches or whatever, which it keeps with itself. Local repository, index repository. I'm calling repository. I don't know what the term name is, and the workspace. So when I said we do git pull, what it does fetch, which is takes all the remote repository changes and put it into the local repository. It's still not. This is what we work with. Workspace, and this index is the one in which Git keeps track of what file it needs to track. So when we do git fetch, it will take all the changes, put it into local repository. If you look on the top, git add will make all the changes from workspace to index. If we do git commit, it will take all those changes from index to local repository. If we do git commit with the flag A, it will add it to index as well as commit it to local repository. And then when we push, it will take all the changes from local repository and put it to remote repository. And here below that we'll see git pull. Rebase is also one of the commands. So git pull, it does the fetch as well as the merging from in local repository working space.
So we always need to follow this pattern, right? We cannot directly from workspace to push or push anything into
There should be. Git is so full with flags and shortcuts and shorthand. There must be something, but try not to do that. I prefer to keep all the changes locally, structure our commits if we are working on a big branch, big story or something. Make the local logical change commits and then push it. Usually,
yeah, I'm just saying because people are coming from SVN, they have like that habit that okay, I have made some changes, I don't need to like
but you have
collect
to,
everything and then push. You keep pushing things to SVN, right?
you have to create a commit, right? You have to like. Achha, that's what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So committing and pushing is different in Git and SVN. That's yeah.
It will be a two-step process. Let's go with that instead of doing directly right now.
Yeah. There must be some shortcut. It is full with.
I'm just saying that difference is there that we all need to understand clearly.
Even the difference is that there's only one local working copy on your machine for branches. So you have your trunk. It will be there in your local directory. And if you check out any 13.0 or 12.9, it will come into the same working directory. There will be not two file directories that you will compare.
Okay, physically you won't have a different two.
No, there will only be one folder.
There will only one local directory.
In fact, once someone asked, he wanted to compare one file in two different branches. Yeah. So he made first two copies of the Git branch and then started doing that. And I said, no, there must be some command. So there was a command in which you can compare the same file in two different branches. You don't need to make a whole copy of it and then see the difference in the branch. So
basically, you can't work on both the branches at the same time.
At the same time. If you want to just copy it.
Only one branch at a time.
What does that mean?
Means you will have same folder structure for all the branches at the same time. So you can't have multiple folders for different branches. You have to switch to that branch locally only.
Can't work on instant activity and QA as well.
That's not possible.
You can switch between two.
You can switch. You have to switch.
Very easy. Very easy.
Switch will be like in 1 second thing.
So quick recap on commands. Git clone. First I have to get the whole thingy to my local machine. Then if I have something new, I would say git add.
Yeah, you can send it to me. I'll show it to them.
Or do you want to connect your machine, Himanshu, for a moment so that they can see the Windows-based UI tools? Git GUI, Git K. A visual tool, because that is what the team will be using.
I have source
Which one is recommended? There are many. I think it is a good idea if we
Let's start with something simple and then people can go to their choice.
Git ke so
लोग use करेंगे mostly. Open Git के.
So this is the default history. I don't know. This is the way to look into the history UI tool here.
Git login, graphical default desktop or default.
Yeah. So source tree is also quite famous. It's also quite nice.
So if you want to see the ID of a particular commit, you can come here and see the SHA ID of it, SHA ID.
And how to come here?
Git K.
Git K is when you install Git K will be the default one for history, and Git GUI will be the default staging or yeah. So this will be the default tool to stage the file and make the commits
Can you
and
select the file also?
yeah. So this So yeah, this is the default tool, Git GUI. These are the unstaged changes. When I click on this, this is equivalent to Git add. We are adding the file. We
So
are
it
telling
is
the Git.
staging it, and then
And
you will
then-
put a commit message and commit it using the second last one.
So checking as a पहले stage करना जरूरी है.
Yes. We need to tell Git how to do it. So here just commit. So it allows us to push as well. So you can use this to directly just push. No need to think about it. It will do something, but I prefer to do it explicitly. Implicit things are not good in software.
And just this, sometimes you may have a couple of local commits on your in your repository, and you may want to modify one more file. You say that okay, I forgot one config file. You want to merge it with your last commit that you have locally. You can use the amend last commit option out here, which can put it in your last local commit, which is not yet been pushed.
Yeah, not try. Just never ever amend a commit which you have already pushed.
ऐसा भी कर सकते हैं.
Yes, Git is quite powerful. You can do anything. You can, yeah. That was a concern I raised with Tina. Ki, things can go really bad if people try dangerous commands. We can change the history of our whole commit on GitHub as well. We can do a lot of things. They probably put some permission things in there,
But it will be recoverable.
it will still be recoverable because everyone will have a copy of repository of them.
And reflog.
And I don't know
So
what
quick
other tools. Yeah,
recap. Quick recap.
show you the sky.
You want to show it here?
Yeah.
You wanted to show that, right?
I thought.
So, so quick recap: Git clone to get the thingy on my machine. Git status to check if there is any diff that are in my local working copy. Git add to add new file or modified file, which can be done using Git GUI. Git branch, whatever branch, to create the branch. Git checkout to go to that branch. Git GUI to open the UI that we just showed. Git K, that also to see the history of whole repo, not the file. If you want to see the history of a specific file, then you say git K and then the path of the file. Git pull to get the changes from server. Git push to push changes to the server. Git commit. Git commit. What else?
Git release.
Forget it. For now, I mean, remember this 10 commands. Your week will go. I'm sure in that week you will have bunch of situation, and feel free to. So I'll call out who knows Git. Tina knows. Abhi knows. Gaurav know. I know. Who else? Abhay know. I mean, almost all. Everyone from mobile team knows. Feel free to contact them and have your situation explained, and they will. Okay.
So right now in SVN, we check out the branch separately, and then I open that branch in Visual Studio separately. So that still can be done with the branch.
Not separately.
See, how do I open it in Visual Studio?
You have to open
Switch to the branch, then open.
That's it.
Only one Visual Studio, not two.
If you are already opened it,
That's what you said. You can work only on one branch.
That is
I mean that's
Just you have to switch.
that's same for SVN as well.
no.
That will be
So
Check
they
out
can open
different
to
folders.
Visual Studio and open Dispatch Office Web.
Same
of
folders.
branch.
That you can same folders.
To Git.
Same folders. Because so that's similar for Git as well. I mean,
And this guy knows. VGT team. This guy knows.
that this guy is in the nail.
Yeah.
In Bangalore, anyone knows?
There must be. There LMS is on Git, right?
I assume
LMS is on Git. So
In Bangalore, VK knows, Sanjeev knows. From XP, I'm not sure anyone knows. Nitesh knows. Okay, Nitesh knows.
Yeah, so conflict messages will be quite frightening. So yeah, ask everyone who knows.
One more question regarding the rectificating windows and no, start selecting. The line endings here left
Style.
is a problem.
Yeah, in Spring installation, what we do same as it is, right?
So we'll give some standard command. Hey, you have this repository, run this command, and then start your work.
Because the
Yeah, but
CRLF thing starts.
but everyone is working on Windows, right? It won't affect anyone. Everyone's option will be should be default.
Should be.
Yeah.
We face that because we have to face. So we got a bit much complaints repeatedly because of that. And we figured out this was the reason.
Like I said, I mean, there will be situations. That's okay. It's okay to have situations. Feel free to contact whoever knows. I know I have worked deep, humongous time when I had issues in Git. Nothing wrong in that. It's a little bit different than SVN. It's largely different than SVN, so it's okay.
But like,
It's
trust
okay
me
to
on
consult.
this. Work on it for a month. You will never go back to SVN. That's for granted. I mean, you won't ever go back to SVN.
And use terminal shell. You'll be much faster.
We should work, cover Git merge code.
Git merge.
Rather than editing the file, merge the changes, you can also use Git merge code.
Yeah,
So I think we'll send one this commands as well as some description around this command as a mail or Confluence page somewhere, in which I'll link this.
So whenever we make the switch, a lot of people will try to download the entire Git repository.
We should share.
So maybe we should just have one person at each location download it, and then take the .git file, compress it, and send it across to everyone so that we don't waste the bandwidth and it will be faster.
So when you clone a repository, there is a hidden .git folder in it. It contains all the information about everything for the repository. You can delete everything apart from .git and then recreate the whole repository from that.
If you want to stop tracking the file,
Why?
you can
Acha, that way. So there is a git ignore file. You can put all the files you don't want to track.
the thing is you add it to the commit. I've already added file. You can ignore it right. It's already being tracked. Now I want to
Before you can commit it.
Unstaged.
Before you can commit it. I mean, what would be the person who untracking it? You want to either want to delete it or
Unstaged, just asking.
yeah, that way. Just you can untrack it.
What is the plan on local test environment? Thinking
Git, install Git there.
So we've also asked Abhinand to set up credentials, generic credentials, especially for CI. We'll be doing it for our environment and for their environment. So we'll use that after installing Git on Jenkins. Jenkins has inbuilt support for Git as well.
And
Jenkins has support for SVN as well, but full version of Jenkins support is quite old. And we're not looking at anymore. We use command line SVN. Maybe there might be some similar situation with Git as well. Forget Jenkins support, we will start using command line.
Can you install that some common place?
Portion shared and
locally cannot do chota sa.
The main problem will be downloading the repository first. Not sure how much time it will take. Last time we were trying to load it over SVN, we can ask a couple of days.
But
3 days.
so will they be like? But
It should be faster.
It will be faster or else we'll ask them to.
can they send us the .zip file?
Yeah,
We'll try to figure out some.
somewhere on the file.
But is there any remote branches that get created like 13.1, 13.2? It will come to you in matter of seconds. It will not be the long 4 or 5 hour wait every time a branch is created.
And with SVN, you can use switch command.
Yeah.
matter of minutes. It's not seconds, but it's not
If people have questions,
I think you will not get the message in down.
yes. If people, anyone has question, any need, raise that in.
Yes,
Whoever is
I
free.
have a point. Like for Git, we can use source tree application, which will give you the visual effect of the things which we are committing and updating, merging the codes. So I had sent the link for the sourcetreeapp.com where you
Perfect.
can have a look for.
Yeah, whoever wants to.
Yes.
and I think we were talking about having one, trying to have one UI or
Well, Visual Studio also supports Git as a first class support.
So this source tree is also free.
This is the best.
Mostly is well this.
Terminal is the best,
We'll start fine.
It's not the best.
but it's
Use
the
the
best.
defaults and then
If you
change
love
over
it,
to whatever
Actually,
you're doing.
developers use the default one Git can give to it and understand all the basics, then switch to source tree or GitX or whatever.
Terminal.
Or
Or
terminal.
terminal.
You will need everything in Git.
Linux.
What
From
is the
Linux or
terminal
terminal.
Yes,
From
Mac,
Windows,
yeah.
which are
I can use terminal. I need an Apple in this.
No, you can use Git Bash in Windows as
Okay,
Git
well.
bash.
are we done with session?
So yeah, if there are no more questions.
Cool.
So will there be a overlay between this two?
No.
Or does that thing will stop SVM?
Makes sense, right? I mean, otherwise we'll have to.
So things can break in next coming 2-3 years.
Will break. Very sure.
So we should have a bit of time for our check. So that in SVM, whatever we have done, we can check in. So
So today is the last day for committing 13.0.
yes, today is Steven Lake.
Sir, I mean, yeah, theoretically, yes. But we can have Git available and port your SVN changes to Git and then commit from there.
So today morning, Steven Lake has said still Wednesday is the day when we are making it move.
But day after tomorrow we have deployment 13.0. Suppose something came in tomorrow, then what will happen?
It's not just a tool. Don't worry about it. So there's a command git --help. Just look up it. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bangalore. We'll stop.